My stepsister took credit for all my achievements until one moment exposed everything. My stepsister Rebecca moved in when our parents married and immediately started taking credit for everything I did because she was 17 and I was 14, so people just believed her. It started small with Rebecca claiming she'd helped me with homework that I'd done completely alone. She'd wait until I went to bed, then show my parents my math assignments saying, "Look what I taught Jessie today, isn't she improving?" Taking credit for grades I earned myself while making me look like I needed her help. When I baked cookies for a school fundraiser, Rebecca took them and told everyone she'd made them and let me help measure ingredients. She stood there accepting compliments on my grandmother's recipe while I was in the bathroom. When I came back, people were thanking me for helping my talented sister. She did this with everything. I painted a portrait for art class and Rebecca posted it online saying, "Teaching my little sister to paint, finally paying off, look what she made with my guidance." I'd never taken a single lesson from her, she didn't even own paintbrushes. When I won a short story competition, Rebecca told everyone she'd edited it extensively and basically rewrote the whole thing. The teacher asked me why I hadn't credited my sister for her help, and I looked crazy saying I'd written every word myself. Rebecca was older and more confident, so everyone just assumed she was being modest when she said, "Jessie deserves the credit, I just helped a little." But she'd never even read it before I submitted it. My parents completely bought into this narrative. They'd praise Rebecca for being such a dedicated sister, always helping me succeed. They'd tell relatives that I was lucky to have Rebecca's tutoring, or I'd never achieve anything. Rebecca would fake humility saying, "Jessie has potential, she just needs direction," while stealing every accomplishment I worked for. When I learned to play guitar, Rebecca suddenly claimed she'd been teaching me for months. I taught myself from YouTube videos in my room with headphones on, but Rebecca convinced everyone she was some guitar virtuoso who'd graciously shared her knowledge. She couldn't play a single chord, but nobody ever asked her to prove it. The worst part was how she'd undermine me while stealing credit. She'd tell people, "Jessie tries so hard, but she needs a lot of support to get things right," making it seem like I was some struggling kid who needed her superior guidance to function. Teachers started talking to me slower, like I was challenged, because Rebecca had convinced them I couldn't understand things without her help. This went on for over 2 years. 2 years of Rebecca claiming my achievements while simultaneously making me look incompetent. I started hiding my projects and submitting homework directly to teachers without bringing it home. But Rebecca always found ways to insert herself into my accomplishments. She'd show up at my presentations claiming she coached me. She'd tell judges at science fairs that she'd helped design my experiments. She even tried to accept an award on my behalf, once saying I was too shy to speak publicly. Everything imploded at the regional talent show. I'd been secretly preparing a piano piece for months practicing at school where Rebecca couldn't claim she'd taught me. It was a complicated classical composition that required serious skill. Rebecca didn't even know I'd entered until she saw the program. She immediately started telling everyone she'd been teaching me piano since we became sisters. The other competitors' parents were impressed, asking Rebecca how long she'd been playing. She made up this elaborate story about studying at conservatory before her parents' divorce forced her to quit. She said teaching me helped her stay connected to music, and she was so proud I'd learned this piece she personally selected for my skill level. She had no idea what piece I was playing. When my turn came, I walked onto the stage and the announcer said, "Next we have Jessie performing Chopin's Ballad No. 1 in G minor taught by her sister Rebecca." I stopped at the microphone and said, "Actually, I need to make a correction. Rebecca has never taught me piano. I've been taking lessons from Mrs. Yoshida at school for 3 years." The announcer looked confused and Rebecca stood up in the audience. "Jessie's just nervous, she doesn't want people to think she had help, but I've been working with her for months on this piece." That's when Mrs. Yoshida stood up. "That's interesting, Rebecca, because I've been teaching Jessie privately, and I've never seen you at any of her lessons. Can you tell us what key this piece is in?" Rebecca went red and said, "I don't need to prove anything." Mrs. Yoshida continued, "The piece is in G minor, moving through multiple key modulations. Since you selected it for Jessie's skill level, surely you can tell us about the polyrhythms in the third section." Rebecca stammered something about not remembering technical details. Someone's parent who is a piano teacher called out, "If you taught her this piece, you'd know it's one of Chopin's most difficult works. Nobody who can play this would forget those details." I sat at the piano and said, "Rebecca can't play piano. She can't play guitar either, or paint, or write, or do any of the things she's claimed to teach me. I'm going to perform now, and when I'm done, I challenge Rebecca to play even a basic scale." I played the piece perfectly. All those months of secret practice paid off, and the audience was completely silent until the last note. Then they erupted in applause. The judge stood up and said, "Rebecca, would you like to demonstrate any musical ability at all?" Full story on channel, link below.